Touch me, I wanna feel your body, your heartbeat close to mine. So sung pop star Samantha Fox in the 1986 hit Touch Me that got to number 3 in the July singles chart. This game was released that year, but it isn't really anything to do with Samantha Karen Fox's pop career, and more than likely the only person you'll be touching is yourself. This game leans far more into her primary career for inspiration, and no doubt has a stalker on when it does so. And no, she's not a celebrity poker player like Jennifer Tilly or Victoria Coen Mitchell as far as I'm aware. Yes, this is leaning firmly into that career of which you probably know her for. Yes, she is a lady able to feed a whole village of babies should the village elders command it. But before we sweatily roll down our trackies and face off against one of 80s Britain's most famous faces and go, oh, that's what your face looks like, let's look into the history of the young lady in question. Samantha Fox was born in East End, London in 1966 and always had an eye on the world of entertainment, performing in a band as young as 14. She then went on to attend the Anna Scher Theatre School at the age of 15. She was actually a published musician before she showed her tatters, releasing a single when she was the age of 16, but it was her mum submitting lingerie pictures to the Sunday People for a modelling competition that drew the attention of those dirty dogs at the Sun. Am I the only person who finds a mum sending a newspaper pictures of her 16-year-old daughter's jugs a little bit odd? It's a different time, I guess. So, The Sun, never slow to run a paedophile story in the same issue as the bare milkers of a girl still at secondary school, were happy to make Miss Fox the leading lady of their soft pornography. She ruled the roost indeed of the 1980s page 3 scene. Yeah, in your face, Whittaker and Lasardi. Fox was a regular on page 3 from the age of 16 until she was 20, whereupon she went off to follow her pop dreams full time. I mean, that didn't work out really, but, she was bordering on being an ancient harridan as she entered her 3rd decade, am I right? She did get gainful employment elsewhere. She did present a few TV shows. Some might remember the slightly unsuccessful stint she had presenting the Brit Awards with Mick Fleetwood. Do you remember that one? Ooh. But she did return for the 25th anniversary of The Sun's Page 3 Girls in 1995 and proved incredibly popular. But attitudes have changed since then. They change like the seasons, don't they? And by 2015, Page 3 was gone. Breasts replaced with words arranged into a sentence, like a newspaper or something reporting the news. Feminists praised this move, grumpy old men didn't like it, but really, when you think about it, it was a bit of a strange thing in retrospect. 99% of people read a newspaper between about 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning, which everyone knows is the least erotic point of the day. And page 1, well, that would tend to be some sort of story about something quite harrowing, like a real-life tragedy of people dying. And then you turn the page and you go, oh, well, that's sad. Oh, well, I must masturbate. It's a mighty strange themic switch. Samantha, who dated a variety of gentlemen suitors, such as Paul Stanley from Kiss, eventually switched her colours to that of the rainbow flag and went and married her tour manager, Mira Stratton. She tragically passed in 2015, but Fox has since remarried her new tour manager in 2020. Good luck to you both, and to the married couple too. Oh! Samantha Fox Strip Poker was published for the BBC Micro, the Commodore 64, the ZX Spectrum, the Amstrad CPC and the MSX by Martech Software in 1986. So if you had a 8-bit computer and a hankering to play a digital interpretation of Samantha Fox at cards, then you were largely covered. Heartbreak for the Dragon 32 owners once again. Martech will no doubt be appearing on this channel again, as I've just seen a ton of the weird licenses that they did, including games based on Nigel Mansell, strongman Jeff Capes, motorcycle stuntman Eddie Kidd, and get this, 1972 Judica bronze medalist Brian Jacks. Yep, that one I have to do. The game also came packaged with the freebie bonus game, where you play 7-card stud, but not only with Sam, but with 2 other fellas, and no one takes their clothes off. Sam, you see, would rather show you her goods in private. She is, of course, famously a reserved soul who wouldn't show her front lamps to just anyone. Are you mad? You could also play this 1 to 4 players. The bonus game, though, doesn't really add a lot to the package. It's just 7-card stud again, but with less pixelated wabbin-yabs. But then the main game is just a game of poker, a fairly standard game of poker at that. If you know how to play poker, you should be able to reduce the aspiring starlet down to her particulars pretty damn soon. If you don't know how to play poker, allow me to look up online how it's played. We're dealing with strip points here rather than cash, and both you and young Samuel start with 1,000 points each. You start off with 3 cards, 2 of which are face down, but you can take a sneaky peeky look at those 2. This is when betting begins. Players can choose to pass, stay in the game, place a bet, call, or raise an opponent's bet. The computer will decide which of the options are open to you to use at that particular point, and will put a stake limit so you don't go crazy. 3 more cards will be dealt face up, with betting continuing after each round until the final card is dealt face down. After that, we get to the nitty-gritty, getting close to seeing the titty, and the final betting begins, whereupon the cards are revealed, and that person that has the best hand of 5 cards from the 7 that they received wins the pot and the right to see their opponent remove another piece of cotton from their curvy frame. If you want to get super into playing the game, perhaps you can undress when you lose, but if you do that and you die while doing so, the police will find you unclothed in front of 40-year-old Digital Grot, and that may be everyone's abiding memory of you henceforth. Depends what you want your legacy to look like, I guess. There's chaos involved, of course, with cards, which means you could breeze through to the Areola endgame, but equally you could be left awaiting the goods for many hours. Which brings me to the main point. If you wanted to see Samantha Fox in the Nuddy in 1986, rather than pay the full price tag of $8.95 for this title, you could simply walk to your local newsagent, hand over a 20p piece, and are then a mere page turn away from seeing Miss Fox sans blouse in the sun, or one of her equally busty colleagues. Just don't do it while you're still in the shop, else you'll receive the mark of the pervert, something they used to hand out in the 80s. In 2023, that task is rendered even more obsolete, thanks to the internet giving you an instant archive of every single time that Samantha Fox has let her puppies have a breath of oxygen in front of a camera. Here, you're competing with your 8-bit computer to get a single, barely recognisable image of the East End London temptress. She hasn't signed an exclusivity deal to reveal her hirsute clam for Martech or anything, although the backs of these cards could be vulva Easter eggs, although somehow I doubt it. Perhaps the titillation, pun intended, is part of the package, but I'm fairly sure those purchasing Samantha Fox's strip poker are only too familiar with the titular, pun intended again, star's sweat of flesh, and they've seen them in full colour many times before. The game is pretty much the same, no flash, well, some flash I guess, limited version of poker on each format, though the Commodore 64 version does have at least the advantage of having the photo of Samantha's current state of undress remain on the screen. So you can look into her eyes as you mouth, "What have I become?" to yourself through your tears of shame. Although it must be said that Sam seems awfully confused by the whole concept of strip poker, as in between rounds she will redress and then remove her clothes again. An interesting workout, perhaps. Graphically, there's a bit of variation in the quality of the photographs of Sam on display, but they're kind of just about recognisably human. As a test, I'm going to actually use the image of Sam Fox from the Spectrum version with her lumps out here. If you didn't see that, then I got told off by the tube of the U, and I've been a naughty boy. As an interesting side bit of trivia, Rob Hubbard did the reworkings of famous songs The Stripper and The Entertainer under the pseudonym of John York, something he later admitted to. It was just a paycheck for him. Reviews were varied. The Spectrum press seemed a lot more enthused by the nudie exploits of Samantha Fox than their counterparts working for other publications. Bung ba bung ba, I mean dun da dun dun dun. Crash gave the game a 72% in their issue 28. They said it left them with mixed feelings, but Sam's endorsement seems to conceal a well-presented poker game worth the attention of card players. Your Sinclair said in their issue 6 that if the combined thrill of gambling and naked bodies fills you with anticipation, then off you jolly well go. They gave it an 8 out of 10. Amstrad Action felt that it plays pretty good poker, but the hook of having Samantha Fox is totally pointless and for many offensive. They gave it a 40% in June 1986. Zap64 were not fans at all. They gave it a 16% and told you that you could nearly buy 50 copies of The Sun for the same price as the game. Commodore User echoed that sentiment and even revealed the end screen in their review in issue 50, so you didn't have any reason to buy it at all. They gave it a 2 out of 10. Ooh, yeah. It seems for the Commodore magazines, Martech made a massive boob, of course pun intended, by releasing this game. But let's leave one fine physical specimen of humanity behind for another. Napoleon Dynamite. He's coming up in the next episode. Until that time, Kay, thanks, bye.